The hungry stranger. The late summer sun of 1874 burned high above the plains, turning the wagon trail into a mirage-ridden stretch of dust and silence. Clara Whitfield tugged gently on the reins, slowing her team of mules. The canvas-covered wagon creaked, piled high with flour, beans, a few chickens in cages, and the iron-bound chest that carried everything she had left of her family fortune. She was 24, slim, with eyes that carried both grief and grit. Her father had died the winter before, leaving her only this wagon and a dream, to start fresh in the New Mexico territory. Every mile she drove took her farther from the soft life of Charleston and deeper into a land where only the tough survived. That was when she saw him. A lone figure stumbled out from a clump of mesquite brush, a tall man, wide-shouldered but gaunt, with torn clothes and a rifle dangling loosely in one hand. His face was shadowed beneath a battered hat, beard ragged as if he hadn't shaved in months. Clara's heart leapt. She tightened her grip on the shotgun resting beside her on the wagon bench. "Ma'am," his voice rasped like gravel. I don't want to hurt you. I just need food." But his rifle shifted upward, and in that moment she saw not only desperation but shame. He wasn't a bandit by trade. He was a man starving. Clara forced her chin high. "If you're robbing me, sir, do it proper. Don't shake like a boy caught stealing pies." His eyes flickered, startled at her boldness. "Still," he muttered, "hand me that sack of flour. And the jerky. I won't take more than I need." Clara studied him. Dust caked his boots. His ribs pressed sharp against his shirt. A rancher, maybe, one of the many broken men driven near ruin by drought and cattle fever. She thought of her father, who once told her, "Hunger makes wolves of good men." Slowly, Clara rose. She hefted the sack of flour and tossed it into his arms. Then a bundle of jerky. He clutched them, relief flickering across his face. But as he turned to leave, Clara's voice cut sharp across the heat. "You forgot one thing." He paused, wary. "My last name," she said evenly. "Whitfield. If you're going to rob me, at least remember who spared you the shame of begging." Silence. His mouth opened, but no words came. Finally, he tipped his hat, the faintest ghost of dignity returning to his bearing. "Whitfield," he repeated. "I'll remember." Then he vanished into the brush, leaving her wagon lighter, but her curiosity heavier than before. 3 nights later, Clara's wagon rattled toward a valley rimmed with cottonwoods. She camped by the river, cooking beans over a small fire. The prairie night was endless, filled with coyotes yipping at the stars. She heard a sound behind her, the crunch of boots. She whirled, shotgun in hand. It was him again. But this time, no rifle pointed her way. Instead, he carried back the flour sack, half filled, and a skinned rabbit slung across his shoulder. "I owe you," he said quietly. "Name's Luke Mostyn. Used to run a ranch north of here, till drought killed my cattle. You fed me when I was nothing. Thought I should return it proper." Clara's grip softened. She studied him by firelight. The hunger was still in his face, but so was something else, an honesty that struck her deeper than she cared to admit. And though she should have told him to leave, she found herself ladling beans into a tin plate and sliding it his way. "Sit," she said. "You look less dangerous with food in your hands." Luke sat. They ate in silence at first, the fire crackling between them. Slowly, stories spilled out: her father's death, her long road west, his ruined ranch, his shame at pulling a rifle on a lady. And when the coyotes fell quiet and the fire burned low, Clara realized something unsettling. She no longer feared this man. She pitied him. She respected him. And, God help her, she wanted to know more. What a name is worth. Days passed, and Luke kept returning. Sometimes with fish, sometimes with chopped wood. Once with nothing but a sheepish smile, as if to say he had nothing left to give but himself. Clara tried to be stern. You can't just linger round my wagon like a stray dog. But he'd grin, tired but boyish. Then I'll be the best-behaved stray you ever had. Against her better judgment, she let him stay, sleeping by the fire, mending wagon wheels, guarding against thieves. One evening, rain swept over the valley, drumming on the canvas wagon. Inside, Clara lit a lantern, her skirts damp. Luke ducked in, soaked to the bone. His hair clung to his forehead, and for the first time she saw how young he truly was. Maybe 30, only a few years older than her. "You'll catch fever like that," she scolded, thrusting a blanket at him. He accepted it, eyes warm. "You sound like a wife already." The words hung between them, bold and dangerous. Clara's cheeks flushed. "Careful, Mr. Marston. I barely know you." "You know enough," he said quietly. "Enough to see I ain't a thief at heart. Enough to see I'd ride through hell before I let anyone harm you." Her chest tightened. 4 years, men in Charleston courted her for her dowry, her looks, her father's name. But this ragged rancher spoke with no polish, no practiced charm, only raw truth. Still, she deflected with a smile. "And what good is a man's promise if I don't even know his name fully?" "Luke Marston," he repeated. "That's all I got left. My cattle's gone. My land's gone. But the name, well, it's still mine." She leaned closer, lantern light soft on her face. "And I told you mine. Whitfield." "Yes." His gaze burned into hers. "That's the name I remembered. The one I can't seem to forget." Outside, thunder rolled. Inside, silence stretched until her breath caught. Then, hesitantly, Luke reached for her hand. She let him. Weeks later, trouble found them. A pair of drifters, real outlaws this time, circled the wagon while Clara was fetching water. Luke stepped from the brush, rifle steady. "Keep riding," he growled. They sneered. "You, a half-starved rancher." But Luke didn't waver. The strength in his stance, the fire in his eyes. Clara had never seen him look so sure. At last the drifters cursed, spat, and rode off. When it was over, Clara's heart pounded not with fear, but pride. She crossed to him, laid a hand on his arm. "You risked your life for me." "I owed you more than food," Luke said softly. "You gave me back my dignity." Clara searched his face, and the truth broke free before she could stop it. "Maybe what you need isn't just dignity, Luke. Maybe you need a partner." He blinked. "Partner?" "My last name," she said, her voice trembling but certain. "You forgot it once. If you mean to stay with me, you'd best remember it always. Whitfield, soon to be Marston, if you'll have me." For a moment he only stared, rain still dripping from his hat brim. Then his rough hand cupped hers, and the hunger in his eyes was no longer for food but for life, love, and a future. "Clara Whitfield," he whispered, as if carving it into memory. "I'll never forget again." And in that wild valley, where wolves prowled and thunder shook the sky, 2 broken lives joined into one, bound not by robbery, but by a name spoken with reverence.